recording.
Okay.
Start over.
Ears tell how you take in information, and you have ears that's lower than your nose, and that says that you take information in carefully. You like to process it carefully, and it's more important to be right than it is to be fast. And the cup around your ear says that you like more creative type learning than just the logic, facts, and data. You get easily bored, so you have lots of hobbies and stuff to do because you hate being bored. Now your forehead is really straight up and down, which says that you are a sequential thinker. When you have things to do, then you break it in smaller pieces, and or you do this first, this second, this third, and the order that you do things is pretty important to you. You hate it when things get out of order. Is that true? If people come in and mess up your order, it's a little annoying.
It's my order. It's
not your order, not theirs. It doesn't mean you're organized. It says your order is your thing.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Okay, and the lines on your forehead when you lift up your eyebrows, look in the mirror. These are your left side, your personal life, and the right side is the side you show the world. So if you can see, they're a teeny bit different, but they represent things that you've learned. If you have more than 3 lines on there, it's equal to a college degree. So you obviously have that. Okay, scowl for me. Okay, and those multiple lines between there says that you have perfectionist tendencies. The lines across your nose are responsibility lines. When you give your word, you will do what you say. Now your eyelids tell about relationships. They are a little droopy. They're not covering up your eyelids yet, but you have a high need for intimacy, and you bond with your relationships, and they're very important to you. You're very loyal to those. Now these eye puffs that are starting, they are because you've forgotten who you are. You like this because they like it and they like it, and you do all this stuff for everyone else, but who are you? And it's that joy you need to feel in your heart. For me, it's looking at a sunset, that joy. You know that feeling when you just feel the joy. You need to do that kind of thing quite a bit, and those puffs will go away. If you don't, when you're an old lady, you will become demanding because your needs were not met. So it's important to do that. Okay, from here to here is a tall nose bridge, which says that you like to work at your own pace and style of work. You don't like to be rushed or slowed down by other people. End of your nose has a little comma on it, which says that whatever you do, you need to have a passion for it, or it's just unbearable for you. Okay. Now these lines that come down your face, those are courage lines. They are times that have scared the daylights out of you, and you've stood up and done what needed to be done. So those are courage lines. Beautiful lines. We always want to get rid of those lines, but they're very symbolic. Now if you smile, you can see these lines the side of your face. Those are support lines. You are a big support and a help to more than one person. These are mental, or think a minute. Those are emotional disappointment lines. Everyone feels that. You can just see right side, left side, a little bit different on each side. This line across your chin is that you like to do nice things for people, and you love to keep giving, and if they appreciate it, you'll keep doing more and more and more. But if they're not appreciative or don't even care, you're not going to continue to do that. Now these lines come down, and these ones right here, especially in your personal life, you felt some grief, loss, and pain, and those are compassion lines. The only way that you can get compassion is to have felt it. So when you say, I know how you feel, you truly do know how they feel. Your mouth is pretty straight across, which says that you're a good reflective listener, good to bounce ideas off without necessarily giving your opinion. Rounded chin says that you're people-oriented, that when you make decisions, you think about how it affects everyone else. Now the whitest part of your face is your cheeks right there, and that says that you have an aura of nurturing about you that draws people to you. So those are the main things that are on your face.
Wonderful. I have lots of lines too.
Like monkeys! Hey, that's my toothbrush, you monkey.
Yeah.
Hey, put that back, you little monkey. Hey!
Turn it off.
Okay.
No, leave it on.
We'll turn this one on. Huh. Turn that one off and we'll leave that one on. Let's go get in bed.
Leave that off.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
Give me your book.
baby.
Get in bed and then give me your book and I'll read it, okay?
Look at this.
Can you make it all by yourself? Good job.
Knocked down the building. Like her. Standing why or not?
Alright, so we're going to read Curious George and then Clifford the Big Red Dog.
The red dog. Clifford red dog. Clifford a really big dog.
Quiet in the audience.
A big dog. Part of the audience?
Yeah, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. This is George. He was a good little monkey and always very curious. One day, George and his friend, the man with the yellow hat, were on their way to a party at Miss Gray's house.
No.
George could not wait. He liked parties, and he was looking forward to seeing Miss Gray. But when the door opened, George did not see Miss Gray at all. He saw a witch. Ah!
No, it wasn't.
Let's find out. Huh?
It wasn't a witch. It wasn't a witch.
What is that? Is that not a witch?
No.
What is it then?
It's a costume.
Oh, it's a costume.
It's a
You're
real
right.
witch. It's a real witch.
Don't be afraid, George, said the man with the yellow hat. This witch is our friend. The witch took off her mask. It was Miss Gray after all. Oh dear, she said. Did I forget to tell you this was a costume party?
Costume.
George had never been to a costume party before. Inside, he saw more people that he knew. They were all wearing costumes. There was his friend Betsy, dressed up like an astronaut. And was that Bill?
Like
Wow.
astronaut.
He looked like a mummy.
Astronaut. Mommy? A clown costume.
Oh, that's funny, huh? George wanted to wear a costume too. I have some dress-up clothes upstairs, said Miss Gray. Would you like to use them to make a costume, George?
Yeah.
Miss Gray took George to a room with a big trunk filled with clothes. Borrow anything you like, George, she said. I have just the thing for your friend downstairs. You guys think he's gonna dress up?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah. He doesn't fit on his costume.
Yeah. George tried on lots of costumes. The first was too big. The next was too small. Another was too silly. And this one was too scary. Yeah. At last, George found a costume that was just right. George was a rodeo cowboy. He wore a vest and pants with fringe.
A cowboy.
He even had a lasso and a hat.
A cowboy. That's just right for George.
Oh, man.
Cowboy.
If only he could see himself in the mirror. George was curious. Could he see himself if he stood on the bed? No. He needed to jump higher. George bounced on the bed, just a little, but still he couldn't see. He bounced a little more, and a little more. Soon, George was having so much fun he forgot all about looking in the mirror. He bounced as high as he could until... What do you guys think's gonna happen?
I don't know. He jumped this far and he fell down and swept.
You fell down and went to sleep?
No, fell down and swept. No,
Let's find out.
Okay.
George heard the people downstairs gasp. What was that? Crash! George bounced off the bed. He smashed into the night table and got tangled up in the tablecloth. Suddenly, everything went dark. Was that a ghost?
No.
A ghost? George did not want to meet up with a ghost alone. He dashed out of the room and down the hall. He wanted to get back to his friend in a hurry, and he knew the fastest way.
What? How do you know that? How do you know that? Daddy. Daddy.
He hopped onto the stair rail and sailed, whoosh, down the stairs. It is a ghost, someone screamed. Everyone turned. They looked scared, and they were looking at George. The ghost must be right behind him.
Wow. George is so cute.
He's so cute.
Yeah.
George flew off the rail and landed, plop, in the arms of a farmer. But this wasn't really a farmer. It was his friend, the man with the yellow hat. Soon, everyone stopped looking scared and started to laugh. That's not a ghost. That's a cowboy, laughed a policeman. That's not a cowboy. That's a monkey, giggled a princess. That's not just any monkey, said Betsy. It's Curious George. Everyone clapped and cheered. They liked George's Halloween trick.
Yep.
You gave us a good scare, George, said Miss Gray, and I'm glad to see you found some interesting costumes. Now, why don't I take your ghost outfit so you can join the party? After the guests bobbed for apples, lit jack-o'-lanterns, and played some party games, prizes for the best costumes were handed out.
Okay, apple. Let's get apple. They got an apple and candy. Apple and candy. The popcorn too. And they play video games on them. And apples too. Down there.
Yeah, I see it.
It's a robot. His head.
Should we finish the story?
Yeah.
There was one prize for Betsy, and one for Bill, and two for Curious George. You were the best ghost and the best cowboy, George, said Miss Gray. Are you okay?
Huh?
You're okay, huh? Don't bump your head again, huh? Yeah. Everyone had a good time at the party, especially George. Too soon it was time to say goodbye. Good night, George. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
All right, before we start the next story, you guys got to climb up into your beds.
Okay.
Don't hit your head. Go down. Yeah, just like that. Good job, Bowie.
Ah, above my head.
No.
The red one.
Clifford to the rescue.
Clifford to the rescue. Yeah. Clifford to the rescue.
Clifford likes to eat, and he likes to play.
Clifford likes to eat and play.
But most of all, Clifford likes to help. A kitten was in danger. Clifford was right there. And when Clifford's friends were trapped behind a fence, Clifford came to the rescue.
Clifford came to the rescue.
Clifford's brother Nero is also very helpful. Nero is a rescue dog at a fire station. Clifford and I visited him. You want to know what Clifford needs to help us with?
Yeah, yeah.
Staying in our beds!
Save us.
Yeah.
Save us and save our beds.
Or he'll bite your toes until you climb up into bed is what he'll do.
No.
Yeah.
No. No. No, that's
Ruff, 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 ruff.
Got me. Bite me. Do it again. Do it again.
While we were there,
Bite me.
the alarm rang.
Don't get me this time.
All right, I won't. But I won't start again until everybody's in bed.
Get me. I'm in bed.
Once you're laying down in bed.
I'm in bed. Bite me.
Once you're laying down in bed, I'll bite you both, okay? If you guys lay down with your heads on your pillows, I'll bite you, all right?
Okay.
All right, put your head on your pillow, Bowie.
Put my hand on my toe.
All right, put your head on your pillow.
Bite me.
All right, you guys gotta lay down, okay?
Okay.
Are you ready? While we were there, the alarm rang. We followed the fire truck. Nero rushed into the building.
Bite me.
All right, it's time to be quiet, okay? You gotta be quiet. No more talking, okay, guys?
Yeah.
All right, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Clifford helped him. One day, Clifford and I saw a sign that
Bite
said,
me.
the circus was in
Bite
town.
me.
A smaller sign said
Bite
the
me.
circus needed help.
Bite me, Austin.
Well,
Bite
I'm
me,
reading
Austin.
Clifford, buddy.
Bite me.
Should we keep
Austin.
reading Clifford?
Bite me.
Yeah, see, Jet thinks that we should read
Bite
Clifford.
me.
Do you want to hear what Clifford has to say?
Uh-huh.
All right, well then let's lay down and be quiet, okay? All right. So Clifford slipped into an elephant suit and gave them a tail. Last year, our town celebrated its birthday with a big parade. Suddenly, a man ran up and stopped the parade. I can't see you. Are you guys laying down?
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I'm just reading the book.
Okay.
There was trouble ahead at the bridge. Clifford and I rushed off as fast as we could. I sure hope you guys are laying down in bed. Oh no! The bridge had collapsed. Clifford did some quick thinking. Can you guess what happened then?
I don't know.
I don't know. Let's find out, huh? If we lay down and close our eyes, maybe we can see it, huh? Should we try it?
Yeah.
All right, let's all close our eyes, okay?
Okay.
The big parade went on as planned, but Clifford wasn't in it. He was under it. One day, I was walking my big red dog when a car came speeding past us. What do you want, Bowie? Do you want me to keep reading the book? Okay. And right. Should we stop talking and be quiet? What are you saying? Can you say it better for me? Can I what? I don't know what you're saying, buddy.
We are back.
Maybe we'll have to do that tomorrow, okay?
Reading a book.
Should we read the book?
Uh-huh.
All right, are you ready?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I don't know.
Let's close our eyes and see if we can see Clifford.
Okay, Clifford.
Yeah.
Clifford, go up on the stairs.
Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Let's be quiet. Let's be quiet, huh?
Clifford the rescue.
Yeah, let's be quiet so that we can...
Clifford the rescue. Clifford the rescue.
All right. Are you ready? And right behind it came a police car. The police were chasing robbers. Clifford took a shortcut and caught the robbers. The police.
Where is
There
it?
you go. Let's go. You only push that button, remember?
Help me, help me,
There you
help
go. You can walk around the house now.
me.
Yeah. Neat, huh?
Shoshi, shoshi, shoshi. Ja. Shoshi, 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 sho. Ha, ha. Ha, ha.
Making a video?
Yep. Hori dori, orsi, hori dori do. Shum shum, nam 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 nam, nam nam, nam 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 nam. Honky, honky noni. Asho, ha ha ha, roti do. Ha 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 ha. Me 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 me. Shop is total. Social. Have a tool. Asha. I'll show you. Na. Oh. I'll show you something. Show you something. I'll show you something. Take a video of it. This is my rock. He's a grandpa. Ow! It hurt my head. I wish I can have those. Oh, sick. Right.
Yeah, to be honest, I think there's he's definitely the
Going. I'm really just a wave wanderer. I'm just kind of a vagabond. I have no real questions unless you want to practice your
you know Canon camera.
camera. Yeah, I know a camera.
So we just launched the camera to space.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Micro satellite, huh?
Yeah. It's this size.
Oh, okay.
Small size satellite, and you can take this sort of picture from space.
From Tokyo?
Yeah, it's Tokyo. Yeah, we are based in Tokyo.
That's where you launched it from?
It's a launch from the India.
India.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do they get sent up with, what else did it get sent up with? Because this wasn't the only thing on the mission, right?
Yeah.
This was it?
Yes.
So that's
Yeah,
what the
that's
CubeSat project is about, right? Is being able to do minor scale launches into space where it's not just a primary huge rocket, right?
Yeah. So we are the kind of sub payload
Just the
of
small
the
little-
other bigger satellite.
Okay.
Yep.
What's the conference been like? I just barely got here.
Why
I
you
s-
came here?
Why?
Yeah.
I like space stuff.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Great.
I went to a launch in Virginia
Huh?
from, what is it called? The Goddard Space Center.
Yeah.
I went and watched a launch to the International Space
I
Station.
see.
But I mean, I like science and technology, so I'm just here to just look at all of it.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Great.
So do you work for this company?
Yeah. Working with I have my own company.
You have, this is your company?
No, I'm working with the Canon.
Oh,
Electronics.
Canon Electric. Okay, the camera, Canon. Okay, yeah. Okay. Neat. Cool. So, are you Japanese?
Yep.
Yeah. I've been to Tokyo. It's very
Good.
cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. Tokyo and Kyoto and a lot. Actually, I've been to a lot of Japan.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. It was fun.
Thank you so
It's
much.
way different.
Yeah, it's very different from
Like-
the each.
For my mind, like as I'm walking through here, so you see the letters? It's all like Latin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the A, B.
Yeah.
Well, when I went to Japan, that was the first time that I've been somewhere where characters aren't represented with Latin numerals or, like a Latinized alphabet. So A, B, C, it's all kanji and
Yeah,
stuff.
kanji.
And so it looks just like nothing to me. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah. It's nothing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, for me,
Yeah.
now it is, like, I can actually, it has, like, it's made an imprint on my mind. And I don't know if you want to talk to other people about other stuff, like science stuff, but, I don't know. I can, like, pick out kanji now, and, like, make a difference between Japanese and Chinese.
Yeah.
And
The
it's like-
Chinese character is kind of modification of
Yeah.
the original kind of character.
Okay, yeah, and they have the simplified,
Yeah, I think fine.
so,
And we mix the hiragana and the katakana like that.
okay, yeah.
These are katakana.
Yeah. It's such a minor difference. See that right there between that and that? It's like,
Yeah,
it's like a,
just
yeah.
a single.
It fascinates me. But I mean, you know what I mean? It's the same thing with technology.
Yeah.
Just a little difference makes a boom.
Right.
It's a huge thing. Language is kind of like that. All right, man. I almost said Naruto. See you, man.
I'm also the lead for the launch.
That's neat. What am I seeing here?
The customer's looking for the Excel data here, mostly. So again, this is a show done with multiple cameras.
What is this, ballistics? Or?
Yeah, what we're looking for though is actually the sensor data, so it's data acquisition. So we're looking at this signal right here, seeing what happens
Like
when it
spin
vibrates.
or
Now we're looking for the vibrations mostly in this case.
of what? Of the
So there's some
cannon?
accelerometers on there. Sure.
or the? Are you looking at more so of the equipment firing the ballistics or the actual ballistics?
We're looking for the vibration data coming off of the cannon itself.
Okay.
It's a customer's doing this. Here's one that I made.
Okay.
So I'm doing kind of like you're doing there. So I've got an accelerometer here, and then I'm looking at the Excel data, and I'm synchronizing it with my video here.
Oh, okay. Neat.
So I could, that turns red anytime I'm going to spill a drink. That's handy.
Or when T-Rex is near.
Exactly. Yep. So here's the hardware that we'd sell. So this has 8 channels of analog, 8 channels of digital. Software's free. A couple of serial channels would go into a laptop similar to this, and the software that you're looking at right here comes free with it.
Okay.
That's kind of what we're doing.
All right. Neat.
We go up from there, 1 million samples a second, a lot of vibration data, a lot of strain data, used in the
gotcha.
testing world. Here's a guy who's developing a electric motorcycle. So he's trying to improve the current draw on it, got
Is
some-
this used mainly in testing or like
sure. I
on
would say-
actual operational things? as well?
I would say probably more so on the testing side, because that's where the data really comes to play. Once you've got a product, then you still want data.
Yeah.
You know, like for example, Tesla uses it to take the vibration noise out of a car because it's so quiet that you can hear every rattle in it. So, but we're looking for there's some instability in the power. Every time he tilts the bike, you can see he's having some issues. So,
Is it like gyroscopic or what?
well, there's a gyro down here. That's what that is.
Gotcha.
Again, if we're going to look at this signal right here, oops, you can zoom in right here and see exactly what's happening at this point in the video.
Oh, neat.
So here's the whole data file. We're just going to look at this part right here. So, again, just to give you an example.
So,
Here's a GPS, so you know where in the track it is.
are the people that are at this conference like primarily like manufacturing companies, or is it like just?
So this is the first time I've done this show, but I really like it. I mean, my customers are here. So General Atomics is a customer of mine. Virgin Orbit is a customer of mine. So they're using my stuff for testing. So I'm not really sure. I mean, I'm here because I want test engineers, is who I like.
Yeah. So
And
you're
I love
marketing
military stuff.
your product.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm getting leads, and
Okay.
no doubt about it.
Yeah, I just kind of walked in off the street and saw signs and was like,
Oh,
oh,
cool.
neat. So
Yeah. Certainly a lot of military stuff. You know, military's huge right now.
yeah.
I mean, it's like the Reagan years all over again. I've never seen money fly off the shelf. I mean, our GDP for our country's at 4.1%
it's
right
like
now. Is incredible.
Something trillion. It's in the trillions, I'm pretty sure.
Well, 4.1% is what the economy grew last quarter. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I haven't seen orders like I'm getting now in 20 years since Reagan.
Well, that's neat.
Yep.
Cool.
Amazing times.
Yeah, thanks for sharing with me that. How's it going? What am I looking at?
Power supplies for space.
Neat. How's the conference going?
Excellent, as always.
Is it the second day?
Second day. 32nd year.
Of you coming to this?
No.
Or have you-
Fourth for me, but it's been here for 32 years.
Oh, this conference. Oh, wow. Okay. That's my first time here. So, are you just a general manufacturer of all things electronic for space, or do you specialize?
Specialize in power systems.
Okay. Cool. Well, I'm just kind of wandering around, trying to learn as I go, I guess. I don't know.
It's kind of what these things are for.
Yeah, I was wondering if it's like a conference for people to get together and like promote ideas, or if it's like manufacturing.
Yes, and yes.
And for just
Yeah,
people going through space, right?
yeah.
Cool. I'm fascinated with stuff like this. I don't know how much time you have for somebody just spewing nonsense. Yeah? I wrote like a story, but I think it's amazing how, you know, literally this is just a composition of things from the earth arranged in a specific manner to do a function. You know, it's literally dirt
Yeah.
to a certain extent, just
Well, that was
placed in an array, so to speak.
Andy Grove, the original president of Intel, used to tell people we pound sand into money.
Oh yeah, that's okay. That's super neat. Yeah. Cool.
So it's not just sand anymore. Now there's some fancy other chemicals that get pounded into.
A lot of refinement is what it is. I used to walk behind my dad's place of business as a kid, and there was like some old demoed homes back there. And there's a bunch of like electronic equipment, and I would wander back there and felt like I was in some far off place, and I'd smash it all up and look at all the
Pieces and parts.
Yeah, it was really neat. Well, thanks for your time.
Sure.
Modular Devices Incorporated. Neato. Have a nice conference, man.
Thanks, you too.
Good afternoon. My name is David Hitt. I'm with the Payload Integration Team for NASA Space Launch System Program at Marshall Space Flight Center. And this is everything you need to know about SLS in 2 PowerPoint slides, which is a major accomplishment for government. So those that don't know, for those that are familiar with SLS, known mainly as NASA's new rocket for human deep space exploration. On our first flight, we will be carrying the Orion crew vehicle on an uncrewed test flight around the moon. Second flight, we will have astronauts on board. They will become the new record holders for distance from Earth, going farther into space than the Apollo astronauts ever did. After that, beginning to assemble the lunar orbiting gateway, where astronauts will be living and working in space in orbit around the moon. Just recently, the administrator has set the goal of humans walking on the lunar surface again in the next 10 years. But, in addition to that boring stuff, the important part, which is why we are here, is that we're hoping that SLS Exploration Mission 1 will represent the same sort of one giant leap for small sats that it will for human deep space exploration. We will be carrying on the first flight of SLS on Exploration Mission 1, 13 6U CubeSats. You see on the chart here a little bit about the accommodations that we're going to have for that. The CubeSats will be riding as secondary payloads above the upper stage, below the Orion spacecraft. Once the stage reaches translunar injection, the Orion's vehicle separates, stage inerts itself. We'll be able to begin deployment of the payloads, starting between Earth's Van Allen belts and ending beyond the lunar flyby. So there'll be opportunities from about 5 hours after launch to 10 days after launch for the payloads to head out on their way. which enables a range of possibilities. Many of them are going into orbit around the moon. There's a handful that are going just out there that way. NEA Scout, managed at Marshall Space Flight Center, will be rendezvousing with an asteroid. We've been kind of talking about that for a little bit. If you were here last year, we kind of gave an overview of the accommodations. The fun part for us has been, if you had asked me 6 years ago when I joined the SLS program, the conference that I would be least likely to ever be speaking at, this would honestly probably be it. You know, you're building a 322-foot tall rocket, 8.8 million pounds of thrust, capable of delivering 26 metric tons to translunar injection. The time it took us to say, hey, you know what we ought to do with that capability is 30-pound payloads. It took us a little while to reach that point, but it has been an amazing process once we're here. I lied in the beginning when I said this is everything you need to know about SLS in 2 PowerPoint charts. You'll want to come back tomorrow when my manager, Kimberly Robinson, is giving a talk at 2 o'clock. Tomorrow I'll be back here closing out this again to talk about Exploration Mission 2 and future possibilities. You'll want to come by our booth in the NASA section, talk to us. But who you'll really want to talk to learn about SLS, who you'll really want to talk to learn about the secondary payloads on this vehicle, go into the university section, talk to the kids from the University of Tokyo. Talk to the kids from Morehead State University in Kentucky, who are going to be flying a payload on the historic first flight of a new era of human space exploration. Seeing their excitement over our progress, seeing their excitement over this opportunity is frankly more exciting than the work that we're actually doing to us. It's so cool seeing this through their eyes. So I encourage you to come by and talk to us, but also stop by and talk to the students that are going to have their payloads flying on this mission. Thank you.
But I don't have that.
I can tell you this.
Only once have
Where do you do this?
Excuse me. So is this your booth?
Yeah, this is booth from the University of Tokyo, Japan.
Okay.
Yeah, we are developing the several types of the CubeSat, very small satellite. And actually, we launched the world first CubeSat in the 2003.
Okay, neat.
Yeah, it is the very small. Yeah, this is the engineering model of the satellite. It's this size.
Oh, that's
Very,
this
very-
is actual.
Yeah, actual size,
Okay.
very small one.
Neat.
Yeah, and now we are developing these types of the CubeSat. This is also the actual size,
Okay.
and which will go to the moon.
Oh, okay.
Yes, by launched by the NASA's SLS rocket.
Okay.
Yeah, and next year, yeah, this satellite will go to the moon.
Cool. So are you a student at the university or?
I'm
Or are you a
assistant
professor?
professor here
Okay.
of this university. Yeah, if you have interest, please take this one.
Neat. Thank you. Have you ever heard of people thinking about using lasers to launch rockets into space where
Yeah,
it
yeah,
causes
yeah,
a-
yeah. I know.
So you don't have to use a rocket booster system?
Yeah, yeah. If we can do that, yeah, it's super. Yeah.
That's where we're trying to go, right?
Yeah.
So it's super cheap, huh?
Yeah, super cheap. Yeah, I see. Yeah,
Okay.
now we are using the rocket to launch this kind of the small satellite, but yeah, laser system is better than the rocket.
Okay, neat. I'm glad I'm not the only one that's heard of that. Yeah. I heard somebody the other day tell me that the way space runs now is like flying in an airplane, and then they just crash the airplane and ditch it and leave. And then you rebuild a whole new airplane, and then you fly back to Tokyo.
Yeah, fly back Tokyo.
You know, that's kind of how
Yeah.
space operates now.
Really, I don't know that's one. Yeah.
Yeah, neat, cool.
Yeah, thank you.
What was your name?
Ne?
Yeah.
Yeah, Satoshi.
Satoshi.
Yeah.
Austin.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Cool. Well, thank you for your presentation.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, have a nice conference.
Well, that'd be unfortunate.
Two CubeSats in development here on display today.
This is different, for example, with PAM amplitude modulation. If you transmit this, you are also transmitting parts of this size.
So is there an inherent benefit? We actually make their business cards for them. That's what I got. Yeah, this is
And I was discussing with them the need that I have to increase our facility.
I'm sorry, but I don't want to be in your video.
Okay.
How I can do? Before to take movies, you have to ask. You are not allowed to film to take.
Well, I mean, we each have memories, so really, in reality, we're
you're not allowed,
expected
so I wish you remove this
to be
movie or-
comfortable.
Before
I'll
to,
delete.
before
listen,
to move
listen.
to film someone, you have to
Okay,
ask.
listen.
First. Who are you?
I'll delete you from the video.
Yeah,
but
okay, it's what I
realistically
want.
and being
Who are you?
reasonable,
Who are you?
you have to be comfortable in public with other people because we each have memory. What's the difference between that and me remembering you right now? On the
You have to ask the
So I have
authorization.
to
it's
ask
my
you before I
face.
can look at you.
You are my
'Cause
face.
I'm gonna
Come with
remember
me. We will see the organization if you're allowed to do what you're doing before to movies to film.
It's a
to rec-
public conference. It's a public university.
It's my face. It's my authorization.
All right.
You
Well,
have
it's
to
my
ask.
reality as well, dude.
Okay, we'll go to the.
All right.
Just come with me. You will see if you're allowed in it.
Are you with him? Can you be like a third-party bystander if possible?
Right.
So I have to ask every single person in my entire existence if I can film. All I'm asking for is a rational conversation with somebody where what's the difference between that and me observing somebody with my own eyes? Well, I will remove him from the video. I told him I would remove him from the video.
Okay with this. I don't want to be in this mode heavily. So please ask to remove.
I'm just a vlogger
I didn't
that's
give
documenting
authorization to be
space
recorded by
for
this guy.
literally the benefits of everybody that comes
Who is
across.
him? Who is this person?
I'm just a guy walking
It's
around.
not the public, and I don't want to be recorded. I don't know who you are and what we will do about this movie. You don't have any badge. I don't know who you are.
no, but
and
I'm
I
a
don't
person.
know what you will do with this
But I'm a
video.
person.
So please do something.
Yes.
or
Treat
I
me
will
like a
put the claim
person.
right
We've
now.
got it covered, thank you. Okay, so to be walking filming here, you have to do a filming badge. We can get you one if you want to be a media person.
Okay, that's fine.
You might have to, you can talk to these ladies down there, and they might be able to give you a badge if needed.
Jeez. I literally just like walked up the street, saw a space conference, and decided to walk around with my camera.
It's okay. Just have to
Okay.
make sure you have a badge on. Thank you.
All right. Hey, what's up?
But literally, I am a guy who lives down the street. So I just thought, you guys like print something out that says like social media. It's like on necklace. Yeah. Okay, that was just super weird.
We just got
Started attacking me, really. Like, kind of like this. Just, yeah, saying I have the right to film the conference without being like through the legitimacy of the program itself. Okay, yeah, cool. Like, I've lived here for a year. I'm on campus full time. Actually, I just got accepted.
Sorry, thought it was me.
When I've done other events that I've been with,
don't know. That from a community gym. Yeah, I thought he was right. So I was like telling him, dude, I'll delete your face from the video if you want me to, but you have to understand, you're out in a public place, like, people are gonna see your face with their eyes. You have to be somewhat comfortable in society, you know what I mean? Like, I was just letting him exist. He's just a little guy that wanted to fight. Honestly. Yeah. Oh, yeah, no. Or ate something that he shouldn't have, I don't know.
Yeah, I saw that. I took a picture of my daughter. She's starting college next year, and I'm like,
Make it like a paper note with signature. See if I can pull something out. Yeah, where's that at? I don't even know if this is worth the hassle. Like, I was driving and saw a thing that said small chat, looked it up online, saw the conference was going on, sent it up here.
Some pictures. It depends on how you got it.
Maybe he's like with the media and he's upset that other people are like filming, and it's like he went through a whole process. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I could identify him easily, yeah. Yeah, it was, well, actually he came out of the cafeteria. I could look on my film. Because he did or something, and then he's like, well, who's this kid that's like, not. Yeah, I don't know. So who did you say that I might be able to go and persuade? Like, I get that piece of paper that says I have a possible. It's like, I don't know, somebody like that, even if I had a piece of paper that was like, Austin has permission to film and signed by somebody as social media. Because he told me, he said I would, like, it sounded like he would have been fine if I would have pulled out this that said, I'm okay to film. Yeah, so I'm wondering, is there, you said it was too late to get an actual pass training. Is there like a department head individual that I can have like sign a piece of paper so I have something to show, which I might possibly be able to do. But I can't do it. But I can't go and like have somebody say like he's on and like sign it. So there's like, what I'm saying is it's like you guys are like as rigid as the technology. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a bummer. Like everybody I spoke to has been so nice, you know what I mean? Like just like personable, like, yeah, I'm a person, I'm interested in this, tell me what you're here for. I've had great conversations, and then all of a sudden it's just like one person. Yeah. I don't know if you guys heard me yelling down the street.
holy shit. I don't know, maybe he like works for one of the manufacturing companies in there and thought I was stealing trademark secrets. People get really nervous and uptight around the whole space race industry thing. When I went to the whole NASA Willy Wonka and the rocket factory ordeal, there was certain portions in which they made us remove all electronic devices from our body to hinder our ability to secretly steal information. But the funny thing is that the majority of the technology there is all international anyway. So it's like, who are you trying to hide the technology and information from? From the layman, from the lay person? That's who's gonna be watching this video. The people that aren't here, that can't make it here. And it really just sets up this whole ambiance of literally creating a divergent within society amongst those who feel they have the right to view, obtain, and understand concepts and ideas and withhold this information from the rest of us. I hate getting all conspiratorial on it, and I don't think that that's what this is, but it doesn't help that case at all when, you know, there obviously is segregation amongst the demographics within regards to the population of the world. And so to say that there isn't underlying unconscious actions in which we ourselves enforce this segregation amongst ourselves, and it's very sad in a space place where things are supposed to be international and ideal. People are supposed to get along, but obviously people don't get along, and it's for whatever reason. You know, I did my best to keep my cool. I'm certain I would have had no trouble at all. Even the security here is a little more big than beefy, if you get what I mean. And so, yeah, just a very ridiculous experience. But, you know, really, if people want to go to space, they need to promote internationalism, less of this nonsense, more free information, more communication, the ability to rationally speak with somebody unemotionally without getting so riled up that you can't even think and process correctly because you're on this whole vibrational level which is non-conducive, like a current traveling through a wire, for communication to actually happen between individuals. You know, I was just about to go and sit down and write something on cosmic seduction and how what is the international currency of space, you know, that creates this flow, this to and go from place to place. But just the whole mood that that guy put me in, and the ability that I'm feeling restrained at this moment from doing what I came here to do, and really being excited about the whole ordeal because I came upon it by surprise. It's so disheartening.
I didn't want them to flash the firmware 30 minutes before I got it. So, I agree. I think
Now I've heard another way to say Carolina.
We take advantage of it.
Said that,
I grabbed it.
Yes, and solar HMI. To make small.
No, I was small. Just change altitude. Give people a month.
It's a really good dog. And we could drive.
Interesting missions are going on and stuff. Most of the booth already.
So I went and filmed the rest of that shit. That fucking pussy ain't getting the best of me. He's a little bitch, just like everybody else who would be so determined to literally minusculize the potential and power that everyday technology gives to the layman and to everybody who feels as though they aren't a part and haven't been included, but should deserve the right to include themselves and learn if they desire to do so. Yeah. It almost like changed my whole perspective after I went in there the second time. I had my camera all set up secret agent style. And it's like people know when they're on film, you know? But what's the difference between that and making eye contact with somebody? You know, that's a mental imprint. So really, recording devices are a secondhand witness account, right? I could publish documentation through written words and describe the event so vividly as to recreate it within the minds of everybody who comes in contact with my experience through my written works or through me vocally and verbally. Do I even deserve the right to exist and experience and to have a memory of what happened? or because someone simultaneously is doing the same thing, I myself am not permitted to do so. I'm a thing born within a thing that doesn't allow me to understand it by literally putting up blockades to certain aspects of it.
No.
Sun feels amazing right now, at least. And generally, the multitudes of individuals that I came across were habitable, to put it in fitting words for what is at hand here. And honestly enough, the douche didn't know what to say as soon as I started speaking back to him more eloquently than he himself so even stated. What a bitch. On the fly, no fucking lie, it's do or fucking die. Go figure. I then go in and have a really exhilarating conversation with somebody from a company called Vulcan Industries about wireless telecommunications, or RF, or light wave communications, kind of like fiber optics, but from the CubeSats to Earth stations. And we talked about the advancement of these systems and what it meant and what it means, you know, and he told me a lot about how customizable these processes really are and where they're going and where they're taking us. You know, it's literally kind of like building your own computer nowadays, where it's plug and play. You know, you can buy your different modules that you fit within these CubeSats, and then you launch it up to plug and play with how you want to play, right? And they're dealing with the communications from space to Earth and space to space. So even if a sat isn't directly over a telecommunications region on Earth, it can communicate amongst other satellites through a spiderweb, a network system, find the shortest route possible, which isn't obviously overloaded with other functions at the time, and transmit this information then down to Earth. So it's really kind of just extending this web of interconnectivity that we have here on the planet to an almost higher realm, a circle beyond our own, so to speak. Whereas now, you know, our circle is being extended as well, personally, individually. Sometimes it's hard to feel that way, but, you know, just look back on the days in which you had to ask to get a glass of water, right? Even though now in this time we may feel as though we're being somewhat restrained from participating or from freedoms that we would otherwise wish to allow ourselves to. Really, it's all through that perspective of remembrance, which is why I'm glad that I choose to remember rather than forget, that I myself am aware of the freedoms that I myself now have. Wake up and smell the roses. Your movement as a body while on a body in motion, as inconsequential as a balloon within a moving vehicle. Thinking motion is of your own movement, wake up and smell the roses. You don't have a dog in this fight, already whizzing on a trajectory with far more momentum than your potential has to offer. What chance is there for you thinking you have your own thought, let alone movement because of it? Tethered to the sun on a rope of sustainability, who itself is on a course of its cause. Wake up and smell the roses. Even within you, what makes you up, behavioralized characteristic of each character, giving you character, only because what you are rests within a body it can be in. How does one overcome the motion all around oneself when what one is because of it? Wake up and smell the roses, and if not by choice, enjoy being chosen to stop and smell them. What time are we in? Like time is a place, which is why motion moves time. What if nothing moved? Would time move? Would time be? You can't even observe non-movement. For without your motion, which is a process, you can't process. What if to travel near the speed of things, one slowed things down, rather than sped things up? Or in speeding up, does everything then slow down?